Hello and welcome to another episode of 33 Conversations. I'm your host, Michael Abney, and this is a podcast where we talk with founders about what they're building and all of the ups and downs that comes along with that, the spark that made it happen, just having real conversations about what's underneath the hood of building something meaningful in the world today with all the chaos that is going on. And I'm lucky enough today to have my guest from, where are you from today, Danielle?
New Jersey.
New Jersey. And my guest is Danielle Zilg, and from New Jersey. She's here to share her story and her transformation with us and find out what's underneath the hood in your life so we can just have a really amazing conversation with it. So thank you for being here. I appreciate it. And share with me, because you found me from Need a Guest,
yes,
Facebook page online.
Yeah.
But I posted a very, very specific ask that I was looking for, mission-driven, somebody that went through some change and wanted to talk about what the real human side of it was. So what was it about that? What was the spark in you that resonated with that message that had you go through the process to be here today, which I'm so grateful that you did. Thank you so much.
Oh, no, and thank you for having me. This is a great opportunity. I love, your mission and what you're doing. So the big spark moment for me, for the transformation in my life, was my career. I was always really driven. I went into marketing, went into corporate America. I'm sure we'll talk about that. I got to a point, Michael, in corporate America where literally the environment, my bosses, the toxicity was literally made me physically and mentally ill. I suffered from a very, very bad depressive episode. I wasn't sleeping. I was having panic attacks. Literally my body. I had to go on short-term disability. That's how dire it went. And after that, I went through that experience. And of course, through that, got help. I work with a therapist to this day. I work with a therapist. And I was like, I literally cannot be in this environment anymore. It's just not for me. And throughout my process, as I mentioned, I really, really found my passion in being an advocate for mental health and breaking the stigma of needing help. Because, as you know, in the mission you're doing, we all need to be in this together. It's not alone. So I thought to myself, Danielle, what do you want to do, with the rest of your life? And I was like, I really am good at, helping people. I find myself to be very compassionate, and I am very in touch with my feelings. I'm a feeler. And then I was like, then what are you passionate about? And then all right, mental health. I'm really, really mental health. And I was like, oh my God, therapist just came to mind. I was like, I'll be a therapist. And within my journey, I'm currently in school to be a marriage and family therapist right now. But my transformation really happened when I entered school. And you talked about peeling back the layers. Mm-hmm. Oh boy. If you want to learn about yourself, everybody, go to school to become a therapist. Because
what did you tell me?
Yeah, no, who I thought I was, I actually, when I entered school, I felt, invigorated. I was learning. It was great. But I still had that piece of me, that corporate America piece kind of tied to me because I was still working. And I got to a point where I was like, I was having an identity shift. And it didn't feel comfortable. And I was like, do I even do this anymore? Do I just quit school? Do I go back? And then I was like, no, this is your mission. This is your calling. You need to do this. So I ended up actually just quitting my corporate job, and I started my coaching business while I'm still in school, because I'm using actually a lot of the techniques and things that I'm using with my clients today. While I say coaching is not therapy, I am not sitting having therapy sessions with my clients, but I'm taking a lot of what I learned in my process to help them transform themselves, find themselves, really create, because I've gone through this, and I bring this up in a lot of podcasts. There's a model of therapy that I learned in school, and it's called internal family systems. I'm not sure if you heard of it.
Tell me about it.
Okay, so I did not create it. If I did, I wish I did. I would love to meet the founder of it. Richard Schwartz, a family therapist, created it, and basically it is the concept that you as a human being are a system. So you have parts of yourself. So you have your core self, which is like, your truest, most authentic self, when you're calm, connected,
Yeah.
really, really
Yeah.
in the moment. And then you have your parts, and you have protective parts that come out, when you're threatened or you're in an environment that isn't suited for you, or around people that aren't on the same frequency as you. So discovering this kind of therapy in my schooling, I then worked with my therapist actually on my parts and really let my core self shine. And I truly found myself. And to this day, I'm still in the process, still learning about myself every day. I'm further in my program. I'm in the second year of my program, but it has just been such a transformative experience. And while, yes, I've had a lot of ups and downs through it, not gonna lie. It hasn't always been pretty, but the feeling that I have today and now, building what I'm building, I always say, is a high you can't buy.
No, you can't.
Like,
You can't.
it is.
What are you building? What are you building? What are you building?
I am building, so my coaching, building my coaching business right now. I work with clients. I work with growth-minded professionals who are really driven, but what I call, they're stuck in like survival mode. Like, they're in like the hamster wheel. Like, they feel like they're just like something just feels missing. They're like, we're doing all the things like on the outside. Everybody's like, you're doing great. You have it all. But on the inside, they're like, something's going on. So I work with them to kind of do what I did for myself. And I'm not saying you have to quit your job and corporate and do what I did. Like, I'm not saying you have to cookie cutter do what I did. But I help them really find themselves again so they can live with intention. Because I think we were even talking before the podcast, we're living in a society and a just collective right now that I feel like we're just like on autopilot.
Yeah, we have been for a long time.
Yeah.
We were programmed, and there we went, and it's all on autopilot after that. And there's not a whole lot out there that you can go get therapy. Awesome.
Yes.
But you're talking about the same thing over and over again.
Yes,
a lot.
exactly.
And I understand exactly what you're talking about. I've always had that energetic side, or that ability to see the energy behind things instead of the descriptions of it.
Yes.
So that what you're talking about is that like all fundamental loss of power that people experience is really because something that they think is true is no longer true for them. We will experience a loss of power. So it's kind of what you're speaking to, is that what used to work for them, like the tricks that we learn to survive things, can't get us to the place where we can thrive. They can only create more survival.
Absolutely.
So like when something happens, an opportunity arises like you had, it's at a different level of frequency than what you were on.
Yes.
And shifting frequencies is extraordinarily uncomfortable. It's like a record scratch. You're listening to a groove, it's just jamming, and all of a sudden somebody knocks it, an event knocks it, and it's record scratch time, and it's like, because that's what transformation is like. No wonder people don't want to go through it. But like, reality is...
I will say, as I said, I always call it I always say to people, like, the only way out of it is through it.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to be brave enough. I think that it takes courage. It takes intention. It's a choice. I think it's a conscious choice to recognize it and be aware of it, and be like, all right, like, I'm going to pave through this. I always say it's like walking through fire. Like, it's going to burn. It's going to hurt. I mean, there are going to be some very enlightening moments too along the way. I'm not to be so negative about it, but you're unpacking a lot of things that, as you were saying, like, we're conditioned to think, patterns, programmed,
loops.
Yep. We're so it's not an easy process by any means. Like, inner work, I mean, it's very, very deep, but if you're willing to go to that depth of yourself, I tell you, like, the feeling you have when you have, and it's a process and a practice too. Like, you're always leveling up and always improving. Like, I've said to myself, and this is just me personally, like, I've chosen a vocation and a career where I will always be learning and growing. So, you know, coaching, mental health, therapy, that's all it is. I'm learning. My supervisor actually at my internship site, he's like in his early 80s, and this man, let me tell you, sharp as a tack, but like, he's like, Danielle, he's like, I will never stop learning. Like, you'll never get to the peak of the mountain in my vocation.
Or life.
Or life, exactly, yeah. Or life, yeah.
Yeah. If you're looking, it depends on your perspective. Everything is perspective. Like, how you see the world is how it shows up for you. But we just don't understand that perspective is malleable. We think that our perspective, unconsciously, we think our perspectives are right, whether we say that out loud or not. But if you've ever been around somebody that has, you know, an opinion, and they speak it, and then it's like, okay, where's the space? What if, okay, you're right about, okay, great, you're right about that. So what's that prove? What is that provide for the world? Because, like, when somebody thinks they're right about something, how does everybody else around you feel? And that, I don't know where it came from, but that quote about, you know, nobody remembers what you do or say.
Yes,
they remember how you. Oh, Maya Angelou. How did I forget her? I didn't forget her.
No, it's okay. I mean, don't judge me. I love.
Yeah, I just have a lot of information flowing around in the podcast, so it's like hard for me to pull out. It's like writing your name on a chalkboard. You know, I can't even spell it if somebody's watching you. So, but yes, that's how you're left. So if you're left unconsciously, because we don't really say that to people, then it's like, okay, I don't really want to be around that person because no. It's just weird to be around somebody that's making you wrong and they don't even know they're making you wrong. And it happens a lot, I noticed, with religion and people talking about whatever they think their thing is, as if it's the only way. And we've got to transcend that as a human being. We've got to start talking about it. And it's just like, it's okay to believe whatever you believe, but if you feel like you have to be right about it, I would ask you to check in with yourself because you don't believe it. If you feel like you're going to defend something, that's the sign that you don't really believe it. Because if you did, it doesn't require anybody else around you to keep that propped up.
Mm-hmm. And I think you made a great point. Yeah, like, I think, and from my perspective, this is, once again, my perspective is just my reality that I've created for myself. When people, like, you know, the being right thing, and we live in, unfortunately, a very, like, my team or your team, you know, society now. But that is coming from a place of ego. And you have to and lack. You have to, if you want to do this kind of work and see the world in a different way, let go of your ego. Because let me tell you, when you do, you'll see amazing things and amazing opportunities, and things will just open up for you.
Well, you tapped on that right there. See, but how? Mm-hmm. Say somebody is watching this.
Yes.
And listening to this. Mm-hmm. And they're like, that is awesome. I'd love to let go of my ego. What ego? What ego? Your ego doesn't let you know that it's an ego.
That is true. Your ego is like, hey, like, I'm over here. You have to let me go.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So, like, I do a lot of deep conversations. So I love the housewives, or certain sections of the housewives, because watching the housewives do all of the crazy stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, it's sort of like it just dissolves all of the, you know, if I get significance during the day, or if I get, like, my own ego tries to come out, it just helps me melt it down. Yeah. And, like, watching those experiences, like, those people have on there, because that's all about, like, that's all ego. You know?
Oh, 100%. And I love, you're from St. Louis, and that's where Andy Cohen is from, too.
Yeah, absolutely. Love Andy. Yeah. And, like, because, you know, Andy's gay, I'm gay. We all love that little cattiness. Everybody does. I'm sorry. Honestly, they do.
Michael, it's so entertaining. I mean,
it is entertaining. But Do you ever watch them? Like,
Yes, I do. Yes.
Okay, I fall in love with them. Like, who's underneath it? You know, like what I would not do to have a conversation with Lisa from like the Salt Lakes. Like, because if never been a complete narcissistic human being I've ever met on the planet, but I totally love her because I know there's such tremendous pain underneath that there's so much pain underneath it. It's just like my guest that, you know, I'm trying to impart wisdom from one guest to the other, and we were talking about at the beginning, like that was her advice. Like, you don't know what somebody went through. But I can tell you they went through something that they can't even accept one note of being wrong, that they were ever wrong about anything. You know, like, so that creates this barrier, and it just clogs everything up in life. But at the same time, you watch it over and over again from that, you know, the entertainment point of view. But the reality is, my heart goes out to her because I'm girl, if you heal that, do you know how much love you would be in the world? And like, it's okay for you. She's probably one of the most loving people on that show, but covered up with all of that crap. And it's just it's a mirror for like who we are as a society, because we're all taught to cover it up and not be our authentic self. And that's our only access to us providing or being able to get the gifts that we have inside of us out into the world.
100% agree with you. And and I know I'm going back to this, but that's why. So I've mentioned like my work when I was in school, and I'm still in school, and I'm still learning about this type of therapy. But that is the core concept you just mentioned with Lisa, of your parts. So we all have our core selves. Her protective parts are so massive that her core self can't come out. Her core, her truest, because and for whatever reason, you know, I'm not going to sit here and analyze her, but we all have.
But there is one. There's something there.
Yeah.
something
like,
happened. Something happened. And if that were able to be processed in a way, she could evolve from that and like change the entire world, because that is the thing that is collapsing.
Yes, and
in the world that we're seeing it. But for something to collapse, it has to be seen.
100%. 100%.
It can't be in the background anymore.
Yeah, and as I know from doing my own inner work, therapy work, spiritual work, that it's for something to be seen and then to break it, it's very painful. It's uncomfortable. Like, I had to look at some parts of myself, and I'm like, Danielle, like, don't really like that, or, you know, didn't even realize. I'll share too that I'm adopted.
Are you comfortable sharing? Like,
of course.
Messy part?
I'm an open book.
Let's do it.
But I will
let's go.
I'm adopted, and I was adopted to like the most loving parents, right? But it took me getting my degree in this, you know, in working in family therapy, to realize like I have a huge abandonment wound because of I was taken from my birth mother when I was younger, and like just that act has I have a core wound that I'm not lovable. I've worked with my therapist on it. I mean, now I know it's a core wound, and I'm aware of it now, but like it took me, I'm 37 years old, 37 years to realize that.
How are you with it right now?
Oh, I have accepted it, and I know it's I think once you're aware of a core wound, you then know how to. I'm healing it still in my relationships. I'm just still, you know, but I will say, because of my schooling, I've learned a lot about my attachment style, which is how we all have an attachment style. There's 4 of them, and that shows up mostly in our relationships, and it's all based off of how you were cared for early on in your life. So it's a relationship with your parents a lot. I have what they call an anxious attachment. That's why I have that abandonment. So it's like you're afraid of losing people. Sometimes people with anxious attachment can feel like a little clingy. They people please because they want, like, they say sometimes they're people collectors, which I will say in my spiritual journey and in my energetic journey, I am not a people collector, but I do, I do fear losing people. And also I share my adopted mother passed away when in my 20s. So that was, I mean, a huge, like, I lost, and I had a therapist, or actually a professor, tell me, she's like, Danielle, like, because I was writing it in a reflection paper, and she's like, you lost 2 moms. And I was like, oh my God, you're right. Like, and so it's like, just being aware of it, I think, is the first step. But I still heal.
Can you see you're still surviving it?
Oh yeah, no, I just think I'm working through it. I'm healing through it. I'm at a very good place, and I think what the antidote to any sort of wound, in my humble opinion, is self-compassion and self-love. You have to give yourself grace. Like this experience, like I'm in this, little, human suit. That, I mean, I had no control over that when I was, not even. I was born, and then at over 6 months, I was in a foster system, and then I came to the United States after 6 months. Like I consciously do not remember it, but obviously it had a major impact on my, on my life.
Still does.
Yeah, but I'm grateful that I've gone through the experiences, and because I remember when I was I never really thought of it. Like, even when I was in my teens, I never was my parents were very they were very open, and it wasn't like we didn't know we were adopted. We looked very different than my parents, so they always made it part of our stories, but I never realized, and I know we were talking about this earlier before the podcast, of how it shaped my identity.
Yeah.
And so I realized that on my healing journey, and that's why I feel like now I've taken that and turned it, not my adoption story per se, but the process of it and learning and finding out more about myself and going that deep, even though I'm I didn't want to go there for years. I mean, I probably would say I would only really went there a couple years ago. And I was well into my 30s when I didn't, this wasn't a thing. And, but once I went there and dug deeper and, uncovered, just some things that hurt, yes. Realized this, I was like, wow, it changed my life.
Yeah. And you've been doing it from somebody that's done this for 30 years and knows this process. So what you're doing is you're uncovering or allowing the unfoldment of as a concept.
Yes.
Because it's safer that way. It's like, okay, I look at this as a concept, but as somebody that's your mirror, because we're being each other's mirror, I'll mirror back to you that you've said 3 times, maybe 4, I am adopted. Just to let you know their feedback, you identify, I am adopted. And with that comes, even though you don't say another word, every human that is connected to themselves understands, I am disconnected. I'm not worthy. I didn't fit in. My mother didn't want me. So I am. Oh. You've opened the door as the concept. But the thread that resolves the identity crisis starts in your relationship to I am adopted. And recontextualizing whatever that is, because you're not adopted. You're human. Okay. And this is your story, and this is your path, and this is what made you who you are today, that's giving this extraordinary gift to the world. Would have happened any other way, if anything had happened different in your life. So the power is the awareness that the only thread is now you've done all this amazing work in this framework around you for understanding this and seeing it, but now is the time to embody it. Now's the time to embody what's on the other side of I am adopted. And that title, I've lost two moms. Like, that is a book title. Because
I love that.
Maybe
it will be my book.
Yeah, you can have it. Like,
yeah, I'll give you 10%, Michael. We can.
No. You take it. It's yours. But as a mirror.
No, I love that.
That is an amazing title, because the thing that you're going to, like, I can see, and your entire mission is on the other side of I'm adopted. And because that's just what got you here.
Yeah.
That's just what got you here. And your mission needs you to be clear. It needs you to be calm and resolved, and in a space where you're non-reactive.
Absolutely.
And that comes from, like, knowing who you are and surrounding yourself with people who know who you are. So, like, you've got all of this experience and that can transcend and relate to people in a myriad of different ways. That makes sense?
Absolutely.
So I'm just really curious about how, like, what you just heard and, like, how that impacts, I allow these places to go anywhere that they need to go, but like what you said is sharing something so extraordinarily powerful that so many people can relate to. I was not adopted, but I still feel the same things that you feel because of whatever disconnection my parents, they were just doing the best job that they could.
Yeah,
but they didn't know how to raise kids. Nobody does. Nobody does.
You don't get a handbook with the kid that you
No.
You have a baby. They're like it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm talking to a whole human being that is smart, intelligent, beautiful, got a light in you like no tomorrow, and a mission.
Yeah.
People at 37 generally don't have missions. They have, like, I'm going to work and I'm going to be on that rat wheel that we were talking about.
Nope, not me.
No,
not me.
Thank God. Thank God. Thank God.
I beat to my own drum, and I'm so grateful that I found my mission. But to answer your question about, and it's funny, that's a little tip I'll keep it. I feel like you're in my mind right now. You are so right. I am statements are so powerful. And I think, they call it spelling for a reason, because they're casting spells.
You spell. Yeah, it is.
And the way we talk to ourselves is so important. And I try very consciously to use different, like, I feel statements versus I am statements. Very different. Because I will say, and I'll say it right now, I struggle with anxiety. But I am not anxiety. Like, that is not part of my core self. So I really consciously try to use words when I'm using feeling words. Try to say, I feel this, or I'm experiencing this, not I am this, because then it becomes part of your identity.
Yeah, exactly.
And
then you don't get to choose what you want your identity to be. Exactly. You don't get to make your own I am statements, because you can't put icing on a mud pie. Can't put icing on a mud pie. You can't. It's still a mud pie, right? So you can't, like, that's what we do all the time.
I know.
If you unplug that, what could you put back there?
I know.
What's the opposite of adopted? I wonder what the opposite of adopted is.
I don't know. I guess maybe. I write I have a manifest journal all the time. Like, I feel like everybody too in life, we just want. And I have a program. It's like called Whole. We just all want to be whole and home. Like, I am.
What's
home.
the opposite of it? I'm gonna ask chat. What's the opposite of adopted? Let's see what it says.
I think maybe biological.
Let's just see. As it's doing this little work. I think it's so important to... Oh, here. Chat, tell me what the opposite of adopted is.
Write this down.
Yeah. Depends on what you mean by adopted. See? It's all made up.
See?
If you're talking about family, the opposite would be relinquished, given up, disowned. Well, that's not the opposite. That's not
the opposite.
Oh, no. That is the opposite of it.
Oh, I guess because you're right, because adoption is when you...
Yes.
When you're like... Wow.
But adoption, I get chills everywhere. Adoption does not, see, there's such power in language. There's the spells, right?
Yep.
So I'm having an aha right now. I thought adopted meant relinquished, given up, disowned. It's the actual
I kind of
opposite.
thought that too.
Adopted is the antidote to the thing that actually happened. Oh, someone being unadopted, returned to birth custody means a general sense like an idea, belief, or practice. The opposite is rejected, abandoned, and dismissed. That never has occurred to me before. Wow, that's really powerful.
It really is. And thank you for this moment. This is amazing.
Yeah, like, see, real time. It doesn't happen. Transformation happens in real time when you stop and you're like, wait a minute, let's break this down. Let's use our technology. Let's figure out, like, I had never unpacked that or even thought about that because I accepted your I am.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I am adopted. Oh, like all of that thing. But actually, adopted is the opposite of the thing that I assert that you had adoption as, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is the opposite of it.
Yeah.
So now, I am adopted can actually be empowering.
Exactly. And you know what you just did there as a mental health professional? I love it. It's a reframe. You took some, you know what I mean?
Everything's a reframe.
Everything's a reframe, but and I'm with you. Like, I thought, not to say, I would say when I've healed enough that, like, I'm adopted, I actually, like, I hold that, I think I'm very special. And I always told people, that, and mind you, I unfortunately, I know everybody has different circumstances fertility wise, but I was chosen. Like my parents, I was chosen.
You were.
I remember my mom telling me, like, literally, like, she had the social worker gave her 2 pictures and was like, which one? So literally, like, I felt very wanted. I felt very loved.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Okay. I can't think of a better place to land this plane on this podcast today. It's right here. It's been an extraordinary conversation. All of the information for all of us is going to be in the description box below. But do you have anything that you want to impart for our next guest?
Yeah.
That's coming up in just a few minutes.
Yeah.
He'll join us so we don't get off this call.
I'll go back to what I said because I kind of, like, when you said that, be very, your inner voice, be very compassionate with it. Do not talk down to yourself, even if it's a joke, like, I'm this, whatever. Always speak about yourself kindly, with compassion, with grace, because that it's subconscious sometimes, and I know it's like a knee-jerk decision sometimes, but it's so important because you're valuable, you're worthy. As I said, we're all human. We all have a gift. And
time to share it.
Exactly.
It's time to share it. Awesome. Danielle, thank you so much for this amazing conversation and being vulnerable with me on the pod today.
Absolutely.
I totally appreciate it. And you guys listening out there, I hope you got, I don't know how you could have listened to this one without getting something valuable out of it. And that's my intention for everything that we share, is empowering people to make the gifts that's inside of them real in the world. The world's ready for them. And thank you for listening. Much love. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye, guys. Okay, so